listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Every once in a while, I get a note from a fellow creator who's kind of puzzled, if not flat out perplexed, about how things unfolded for them, because it seems like what happened was the exact opposite of how law of attraction is supposed to work. In fact, maybe you've experienced something like this too, where you want something, you have a big, beautiful desire, and you are clear about it, and you're working your tools. Maybe you're feeling it real, or you're scripting it done. You're visualizing the success of it. And nothing's happening. Not a single freaking thing. But you don't give up, because you know that sometimes it takes a while for things to come to fruition, and it might take a minute to get acclimated to the desire. So you keep doing your thing because you really want it. This is your greatest hope and desire, and you are not walking away from it, right? Anyone else know this routine? So you're holding the faith. Maybe you're making your Pray Rain journal entries, and maybe sometimes you back off of it for a while just to take a break from it. But it's always there in the back of your mind, this thing you really, really, really want to see happen in the world. And then finally, you've just had enough. Maybe you throw in the towel, maybe even with a little attitude. Screw it, that's not happening. And then it does. After you stop doing all the things that were supposed to bring it to fruition, it doesn't happen until you give up on it and walk away. Some manifestors are like, what gives with that? The things that were supposed to work didn't. And then when I finally walked away from it, there it is. Okay, you guys, I don't think that's a twisted reversal of law of attraction. I think it's a perfect reflection of it. And I'm not saying that this is what's happening in every case, but many times I've seen this, that it unfolds that way because you stopped wanting it, right? You stopped needing it. You stopped yearning for it. You dropped your attachment to it. You let go of the angst associated with making it happen or wondering whether it would. You just walked away. And even if you walked away with attitude, it cleans up the vibrational situation enough to let it in, because you're no longer sending the signal that says, I don't have this thing that I want so much. You probably have examples of this in your personal life, but here's a powerful one I recently ran across from an author who wanted to see her book published. She really wanted to see this work of art come to fruition, and she did all the things that she knows to do. She's a savvy creator. In fact, she started off by creating this thing with love, for starters, so it was infused with beautiful energy right out of the gate. And she believed in it, and she took the inspired action, and she held the faith. For 7 years, she held the faith, even though nothing was happening. No one was showing any interest in it. There was no reason to believe this was coming to fruition. In fact, one day she was at her computer, or she was in her office. She saw the paper nearby that listed some of the details from her book. It used to be a thing that she kept close as a reminder of what she was birthing in the world. But now she just looked at it and it was more of an irritation. She was like, well, this isn't happening. And she took it down so she didn't have to look at it anymore. And then hours later, literally hours later, she had an interested publisher, very quickly led to an offer, which she happily, delightfully accepted after 7 years of crickets. And she asked, she's like, how is it that speaking out loud, this isn't happening, would make it happen? Isn't that the opposite of intentional being? My take on it is that, look, we never give up on those desires. Those desires, they're always waiting for us to come into alignment with them. In fact, even when we really truly move on to new desires, that's why exes phone us after we find a new love. It's why parents get pregnant after they decide to adopt, and why we get job offers out of the blue once we accept some other position. So I don't think it's that we give up the desire when we walk away out of frustration like that. It's as much as we gave up the waiting for it. We gave up the wanting it and the angst or the attachment of not having it. When we release that, we are such a better match for receiving it. And that might sound maybe a little twisted and kind of cruel, but I don't think it is. What it says to me is that it's really worth noticing what we might have a charge on. If we want this thing in like a yearning way, in a negative way, like I'll feel complete when it happens, sort of Gollum obsessed with a ring kind of way, okay, that's worth letting go. And I know it's easier said than done, but it is pretty simple. My favorite antidote to attachment is just appreciation. The more we love life as it is right now, the less we need it to be different. So that way we can operate from a very clean desire point of view. But that's not what I'm really talking about in this episode. The point of this podcast is just to point out that this is not LOA gone wrong. This is just us sometimes taking the long way to alignment. Maybe it is worth giving up on things sooner if it starts to feel any sort of frustrated or we're not seeing movement. Maybe it's worth checking our energy around it. Because universe never forgets and it never gives up on what we want. It's just waiting for us to be a decent match to it. I think that's comforting to know, even if some people find it a little frustrating. Thanks for listening and happy manifesting, everyone.